All right, how about now? Can you hear me? I don't want to grow up because maybe if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. Can you hear me? All right. My bad, the mic wasn't plugged in. Griffin Gaming, what's up, man? That was some funny shit. I gotta, hey, Griffin, I gotta use that meme you made for my submitted thumbnail for the video, man. We got, hey, Griffin, I know you can make thumbnails, man. You gotta hook a brother up. I got a special guest today that's coming. Randall Thor. I've been meaning to work. Been planning we're gonna work together forever. He's busy. I'm busy, but he's gonna be here shortly. You know what I mean? This is gonna be a great show. The last time you guys see me on this channel, I was cutting up. I was cutting up. Last time you guys see me on the channel, I was cutting up. Listen, I was in my feelings. You know what I mean? Everything that I said was true. I felt as though Microsoft was trying to take my life. Hold on, let me mute this in the back, man. Actually, let me cut this off. Quit Discord. I feel like they were trying to take my life with all that diabetic gaming. You know what I mean? And well, before I get started, I would like to give a huge shout out to my brother Carl from the PlayStation Nation, who sent me those lights right there, all the way from the UK. Shout out to you, Carl. I don't know if I'm gonna leave them right there. You guys see behind me to my far left. I got the PlayStation lights. Ace Bolsky said, I'm trying too hard to be the next Iron Wolf. Nigga, I beg to differ. Do tell. But shout out again, like I said, Carl from the UK for sending me these neat PlayStation licenses. You guys come in, you'd be so kind to hit the like button. I appreciate it. Wait, while I didn't want to leave you guys just waiting in the room for so long, but as he's, I'm gonna get and start the show. Get my, I'm a one man band, man. And again, shout out to all you guys that the influx of new subscribers. Shout out for the comments, good, bad, whatever the case may be. I appreciate it. Now, with that being said, there have been several videos within the Xbox community. Yeah, you see the PlayStation lights. They're right there. My man, Carl, all the way from the UK, sent me those. Said, "Welcome to the PlayStation Nation." Real talk. But anyway, I've seen several videos today. I've seen several comments on Twitter. Some was kind of directed at me. How you say, blatantly or indirectly? You know. And also, I won't take. I don't know. Maybe I was. I mean, probably was one of the first, quote unquote, you say, pro Xbox channels or whatever the case may be, to come out and talk about Sea of Thieves, Sea of Z's. You know what I mean? Now, I need what you call here the user score for those who know, and then you have the Metascore. This is from actually reviewers with the IGN, the Kotaku's, X, Y, and Z. Right? And I know before, I'm gonna say this too. I always felt there are. I did see, so you say, some biased reviews out there. You know what I mean? One guy, I think one publication, I'm not gonna say any names, slammed Gears of War, the Ultimate, remake edition. They came out in 2014, for the use of too much A button. But that same publication gave Gears of War 1 like 190 or some odd stuff like that. You know what I mean? Same people reviewed it, same game, just made it look prettier, and they slammed it for then they went back to slamming for too much A button. Neither here or there. All right. Neither here or there. Right? But there, like you said, you got some, a lot of channels. I'm not gonna say any name. I'm not like I said, I'm not gonna be messy today, Z. I'm not gonna be messy. They're out there really damage controlling this. Now, listen, I told you beforehand that I wasn't really interested in Sea of Z's. I'm gonna be respectful. Sea of Thieves. I told you that I wasn't interested in. I don't like the art style. It didn't appeal to me. Just by me looking at it. And to be fair, I also, so I said the same thing about PUBG. it wasn't until I played PUBG that I actually got it. What was all the hype about, right? So I was hoping maybe that Sea of Thieves would, get me the same way. Once I play it, I would get it, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I mean, start off pick, and also I didn't like the way the people of color look. You know what I mean? But that's neither here. That's for another topic for another day. I ain't gonna get messy. All right. I ain't gonna whoop out the Black History Month card on you. But anyway, I didn't. That kind of turned me off. And then, like I said, I started the game with the shovel. I had my friends with me. Actually, it was one friend, my man Norton, and we got on the ship. It was two guys from Ireland or Scotland somewhere. They had the real thick accent. And literally while we were set a sail, my man Norton was like, "Yo, he got to use the bathroom." Went 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We came back. He said, "Man, I got diarrhea bad as hell." Went back, used the bathroom. We took another shit. We still out there selling. About 15 minutes later, we got to go find a black pig or something. And like that was it. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this shit ain't for me. You know what I mean? Cool. And I said I was going to try it again. You know what I mean? For shits, stream it for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? But I listen. It's not for me. And to be honest, and this is real talk. There are several. This they're saying that this is only 10% of the final game. To me, it didn't feel like a $60 game. I don't know how long they were making this game, 5-6 years. This ain't the answer. Wait, hold on. Somebody just left me something. I'm looking at my screen right now. If you left for a super chat or something, I don't know. I'm not saying you did. I just seen something flash at my screen. If I didn't see it, I do apologize. You know what I mean? But if you didn't, yeah, I mean, I'll say it right here. My man, Classic Love. He said, "What's wrong with crap with his lies about Sea of Trash? This dude says Sea of Thieves is the best new IP of this generation." God damn it! My man, crap ain't say that, did he? Well, listen, we gonna hold hands together. We gonna pray for crap and his sins, man. God damn it! Crap ain't come out didn't say that. Best game of this generation. I know crap ain't come out didn't do that, did he? But anyway, so as I was saying, you got some publications saying the game is like 10% finished. You know what I mean? It's only 10% of the game. Not a lot to do, And everybody keeps saying, "Hey, the water." So I'm like, God damn, what, you want me to drink it? You know what I mean? Like, to me, the game is boring as hell. You know what I mean? And you know what? I'm gonna say this, right? What makes it seem so bad or look so bad is that we haven't had a AAA game release outside of Forza, which is a simulation racer, in about 17 months, right? And for them to follow up with this, I wish we got State of Decay first. Maybe it wouldn't have hurt so bad. What's this March? March is almost over in like 2 weeks. So we got about a month and a half, about a month, 2 months for State of Decay. But this, this is not. I think a lot of Xbox guys were thinking this was Rare's finally getting back to Rare. I mean, I don't think Rare had a hit since the Nintendo 64. This ain't Rare from back then. And if I'm wrong, I do stand corrected. I don't remember a hit game coming from Rare since the Nintendo 64. That may have been, GoldenEye or I think Rare made that. And Killer Instinct. I was a huge fan of Killer Instinct. I didn't care for GoldenEye, but Killer Instinct and RC Pro-Am was my favorite games from Rare. You know what I mean? They're not even making Killer Instinct for the Xbox. Here's an article here from Forbes. Let me go to the article here. Like, this is wild. Share my screen with you guys. Check it out. I'm sharing my screen with you guys. Yeah. Let's go. Make that a little smaller. Xbox One Sea of Thieves is no more than a 10% of a finished game. And I want to say this, I mentioned someone else. You know what Sea of Thieves feels like? Like a Project Spark game. Literally. Now, I don't want to like I'm over exaggerating, but to me, it has that Project Spark feel. It's not, I can't, whether you play this, whether you like the game or not, that's all subjective. I say tomato, you say tomato. I don't even know I can really, I know it has a AAA budget and all that stuff, but I don't know. I'm keeping everything all the way a buck. Like, I don't know. Like, that ain't the answer, Sway. You know what I mean? I think a lot of Xbox fans, shout out to everybody in the chat. I think a lot of that will be honest. If you guys to be so kind, hit the like button. That will be honest. This game was a huge disappointment. I know when I came and I did my first impressions of CFEs and someone said I might have been a little irate, you know what I mean? But I really felt like Microsoft was trying to send me into a diabetic coma, literally. You know what I mean? Like the game was like I didn't have any expectations for the game because I wasn't really interested in the game. But when I started, I said, you know what, I really went into this game with an open mind. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you what's really bad. You know what I mean? Fee, I see you. What's going on, Fee? Miss Fee, Rafiza. I'm gonna tell you what's really bad. Is that even in the midst of my addiction of me going around and damage controlling, I don't think I could have spun this one here. I'm keeping it all the way buck. When I was heavy on that Mountain Dew in that big bag of Doritos, I don't think I could have spun that. That's how bad it was. My brother Dragon More, aka Zillion Bay, broadband bully right there. Knows you're right. Right, the game is based off the Project Spartan, so you're right about that. It's what it feels like, a Project Spark game. It shouldn't be a $60 title. I'm keeping it all the way buck, and I ain't counting nobody's money. You know what I mean? But I'm just being real. This shouldn't be. It doesn't feel like a $60 title. Now there are some of us, amount guys that like it, man. Well, I don't know. I don't know too many people that like it. I don't know. Look, I seen crap. I think crap's like his most anticipated game of the generation. Crap be full of shit sometimes. I don't know if he out there selling snake oil or what. You know what I mean? But game is bad. The game is bad. Worry Work just sent me a link. Yeah, what's going on, Worry? Bleedingcool.com. Bleeding Cool. What are you talking about? Rumor Apple to buy Sony. Ooh, we got to talk about that. Rumors have it that Apple's going to buy Sony. I got it. Thank you, Worry. But as I was saying, you know what I mean? What's my ass with Rand? Rand said he'd be in 15 minutes, man.
I'm here, man.
Oh,
I'm here.
you here, Rand?
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on? What's going on, good brother? I didn't
Not
hear
much,
you.
man.
Let me turn you up. Hold up. Keep talking.
What's good? I was just playing some Far Cry 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. All right. I'll say it one more. All I heard was Far Cry 5. Say it one more time for me, good brother.
I said I just got done playing some Far Cry 5.
Oh, is that already?
Next week.
Oh, okay. My man. Okay, Rand, you're here. What's going on, Rand? We have this. I don't know. Have you been on my channel before? Maybe I have.
I think one time before.
Oh, okay. Shut up. Oh, I'm sorry. One time before, but this is our first ever one-on-one, right?
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to I got a new sponsor. Welcome to Spooky Buster. I appreciate the support. I got a new sponsor for my channel. I appreciate it, good brother. All right. Now, I don't know. I did a I'm gonna say from the rip. I haven't really ever been a huge fan of Rare. I don't like their art style. It is. I'm not gonna get into the whole graphics, mature games. I'm not gonna get into all that, right? But I didn't really have any expectations for Sea of Thieves. Didn't really look interesting to me. That's why I never played in the betas, the alphas. Didn't look like something that I would enjoy. But and the same thing, I felt the same way like I felt the way about PUBG. But it wasn't until I played PUBG that I actually got it and I seen what all the hype was about. So I really went into. It's not that I went in into the game looking to slam it. I didn't have any expectations of it. You know what I mean? And before I continue, shout out to Dealing the King at Beta Bills. Didn't they say it was only 10% of the game during the beta? I just read something from the Forbes. Classic Love is sad. Scalebound gets canceled. Michael brings out that this dog should see a Thieves. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I didn't have any expectations of the game. Played for about an hour and some change. Started with the shovel, hopped on the boat, literally ran. A friend of mine went to go take a shit, came back and said, "Man, my stomach is bumbling." Went to go take another shit, still out there selling. And we finally said, "We got to go find a black pig," and I was like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this shit, man. I can't. This ain't the answer, Sway. Like, what are your thoughts about the game? You know what I mean? I've seen your video, but maybe me and I've seen your first review. Like, what are your thoughts about the game? Am I overreacting? Like, talk to me.
I mean, I know you do YouTube for entertainment.
Mm.
You want to be entertaining. I I don't think you're overreacting. I think it's just not for gamers like us. And I've never really been that much of a Rare fan either. Although
Mm-hmm.
I was happy when they finally got to move out from the Connect Sports stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I
And
was
that's
like, all
what I
right,
was expecting. They're gonna come out. They're gonna finally show what they got.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And Sea of Thieves in concept is an awesome, like, kind of like could be an awesome, amazing experience. Like the pirate life, the ship, and all that stuff, and how it is in the game actually works really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's not a lot of meat on the bones. There's not a lot to chew on. And I know like the purpose of the game is to have those emergent experiences in between going to the missions,
Mm-hmm.
but because there's no reward of like getting your character better, getting better weapons or more health and stuff, like it's purposeful. Like I don't feel like doing those things to potentially have those experiences when there's 100 other games I could play. When PUBG is out and it gives me that amazing multiplayer competitive experience of I want to be the winner. I want to be better than you, and
Mm-hmm.
that game gives it to you. This
Mm-hmm.
game is just I don't know. It resembles kind of like the thought process of like Minecraft. Here's the sandbox. And we'll give you some tools, some a little direction here and there, and go make your own fun. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost just like that. So I mean, I had fun playing with my friends, but other than that, like I'm 20 hours in, I'm pretty much done with the game. You
Well, you're a
know?
better man than me. I didn't really have any. We didn't know what the hell to do. Um, I said something early, and I don't hear. I said that to me, it puts me in the remind of it could have been a Project Spark game or something. Literally, and I know they said that it's a game that will grow with far as content, but it's kind of very bare bones. Since it's a game that they've been working on for about 5 years or so.
Like 4 years, yeah.
That's scary.
Hey, 4 years, 1 year for each skeleton type in the game, right?
That's scary. That's man. You know, that's scary. Do you think the game would have been better, or we see if it had like an RPG element to it? Get to level up your
Yeah, yeah.
character, your boat, or something.
I know somebody just said in chat I gave it an 8, and that was true, but I actually slept on it, looked at some of my other reviews, and I actually lowered the score to a 7. Um, because I there are things to like about it, but I changed my mind because I went and listened to some other reviews and some of the other games I gave an 8 to where I was more positive. So I actually docked this one to a 7. I think like I get why Rare did what they did. They want like say I'm 100 hours in the game, right? Next gen.
Hmm.
And you want to come play with me, but you just started. We can play together because there's no progression, right? It's
Hmm.
just like everybody's the same at always the same starting point and anybody can play together at any point during the journey. However, to a lot of people, myself included, that's not a reason to keep playing. Like it would be so much more enjoyable if you could actually do the quest, level up, and you know what? After a certain amount of time, you can get better armor to help protect yourself, or a better gun that deals more damage, or actually buy upgrades to your ship so your ship doesn't sink as fast. Just like RPG elements like that, where the you can actually see the progress you're making, and it would be worth it then, in my opinion, to actually go on those fetch quest journeys because your character is constantly improving over time. They went with the
Levels
whole
up, yeah.
cosmetic approach, and
Hmm.
here's the thing: I don't care about cosmetics. I don't
Hmm.
buy loot boxes. Anytime there's you start a game and you have to make your character, I go with the default one
Hmm.
because I don't care what my character looks like. So if the hook to your game is to play it, get the money, and spend that money on cosmetics, I'm not going to care about it.
Hmm.
And that's kind of exactly what happened with this game.
All right. Let me approach you from this angle here. There's no secret when it comes to the exclusive, our AAA exclusive, the Xbox platform. We have been, I think, the last game, AAA game that we may have gotten 17 months ago, outside of Forza Gears. For us to go on this long, I say, high drought, do you think CFD should have been the first game that they came out with?
Um,
I'm,
that's a
I'm
good
like this.
question.
Let me reword it. Do you think that releasing Sea of Thieves and maybe in this state with the lack of content did more harm than good?
I think releasing the game with the lack of with the content it has is probably the worst thing that has going for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that has to do with like I think maybe State of Decay 2 would have been better served launching first,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but that probably has to do with timing. State of Decay 2 is probably not finished,
Mm-hmm.
and Sea of Thieves is. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, we need to release something. We can't hold all these games, so we need to get the first one out the door. And it just happened to be Sea of Thieves. Remember, all these games were supposed to come out last year,
Yes, sir.
right? And sometimes I think about that and I wonder, man, if they all did, last year looks pretty good in retrospect if they all launched last year. But
Mm-hmm.
then this year looks like I don't even know. You would have 0 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Sea of Thieves, like you mentioned before, it's a games as a service game. They're going to add to it. No Man's Sky, I see the comparisons all the time. This is Xbox's No Man's Sky. Even though I've heard recently that No Man's Sky is actually good now after a year later and they put all that stuff into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Very well could be a year from now after a whole bunch of updates to Sea of Thieves. Like, it becomes a really good game for people like, for me, maybe not for you because I don't think you care for that type of stuff, but um I don't know. I don't know how like I know me and you had this conversation on Porter Rock's
Yes,
podcast
sir.
last
Mm-hmm.
week.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that what do Xbox gamers want, right? We
Okay.
we thought they wanted games like Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive and Rise and games like that,
Yes.
but they didn't sell very well, right? And
Okay.
Microsoft is in the business to make money.
Yes, sir.
So if those games don't make money, they don't get sequels. Now, if you're in, say, you're running Xbox and you have to make decisions about what games to make, and you have to, approve games that are coming down the pipeline, and you already know the type of games that failed this gen, would you, like Rise 1 failed, right?
I don't
Would
know.
you,
I mean, it's so. It's. I don't know. It's past a million. It was a launch game. You know what I mean?
right, it
Stalls.
was a launch game, but they expected way more than a million. They expected way more from a million than Sunset Overdrive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like trying to figure out what games you need to do next, are you really going to give sequels to games that failed originally?
Well, you know what? And this is why I've always given Sony credit because who was really asking for that too?
Nobody
You have to
except Jay
invest.
Barry.
Yeah, you have to invest in IP. You know what I mean? We can go back and look for some of the reasons why. Like I like Quantum Break. You know what I mean? Why it was slammed the 900p or the 720p. You know, with those games, and you know what was going on back then surrounding Xbox exclusive with the resolution, and we couldn't even enjoy our betas. Everything was about 720p. It was so bad that Digital Foundry was snatching down trailers from YouTube and counting pixels back then. You know what I mean? But what's done is done. You know what I mean? And I'm not like today, not saying like those were bad because I didn't enjoy them. You know what I mean? Um, and I don't know. It's just really hard to like an indicative, like I said, of a game sell to say something that their fans maybe want. I mean, you have Game Pass now, right?
Yeah, which is probably going to save Rare and this game because we just said Sunset Overdrive did a million, Rise did a million. They already had a million players in 2 days on Sea of Thieves.
Mhm. So you I mean, so you have like I said, you have a service now like Game Pass. You know what I mean? So um, putting games again like Sunset Overdrive and whatever, just say Quantum Break or whatever, Rise to whatever, just those would I say grow the install base of subscription base of your Game Pass. So there's really like no excuses now. Like I mean, that's your safety net right there. You know what I mean? Because again, even somebody may not go out there and pay $60 or whatever the case for Quantum Break 2, but I try that for $10 a month. You know what I mean? What else you have in there? You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for them. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Game Pass changes everything for Microsoft. And I mean, Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, these games were in production for a while. I don't think they were thought of when Game Pass was around.
Mhm.
So what we want, like I've had conversations with people at Xbox that have told me that the success of Game Pass will lead to exactly what you're talking about. Like
Oh,
the single player focused narrative
mhm.
game, like coming back. Like
Okay.
at least that's the conversations I've had. Um, I just think I think Microsoft is a very they want their box to be very community focused, right? So all these games that are come out are very multiplayer heavy, which makes sense considering you have to pay for Xbox Live. And if you want, if I'm playing Sea of Thieves and I want you to play it, then you can get Game Pass, right?
Turn
Kind
that
of
down, Monty. I'm sorry.
kind of forces people to get that stuff. But I mean, I don't know, when you compare it to what Sony's doing or what Nintendo's doing,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a big, I don't know, like there's a big stark difference between Sea of Thieves and God of War. But then again, they're two totally different type
Well,
of
I would
games.
even say, production value. I got a question for you. Shout out to my brother Griffin Gaming in the chat for $5 and pay the bills. I want you to answer this question, Red. I heard it three that Sea of Thieves launched with a lack of content, so they can update it monthly to keep you paying for Game Pass. Your thoughts?
I think they just launched it with what they had to get the game out the door.
Mm. Uh, well, I mean, I don't know. Are they sell? All the DLC for the game free?
Yeah, they said the only thing that would be paid for is like small microtransactions like pets and stuff like that. But any like expansion or big updates, they're all free.
Okay. All right. So tell me why people raise the hell out of Street Fighter Five or like content but praising the hell out. Brian said, tell me why people rage the hell out of Street Fighter Five for lack of content but praising the hell out of Sea of Thieves. Yeah, Street Fighter Five did launch on the skimpy side. You know what I mean? I'm be real. I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm not going to hold my tongue, but I you do have some channel. What's that guy? Who you on your ass? The Xbox police. He even called me homeless. Do me under the goddamn bus, right?
Yeah, Xbox Truth Police, man.
Oh, there you go. You do have some extremists, lawyers or whatever, that are how you say, I don't know, defending it. But I'm gonna say this. Here's my point, man. Maybe you can make sense of how I feel, right? Maybe I've set my standards so high with Microsoft, right? I'm just used to, the big AAA over the top Michael Bay Transformers type games. You know what I mean? Uh, I expect more from Microsoft. You know what I mean? Giving the resources that they have. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, this is year what the fifth year within this generation. Right now, you should be firing on all cylinders. You know what I mean? And
I
they're
agree.
not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
not. And I remember when Microsoft acquired Nokia. Oh, I'm sorry, Warrior. What want to join the word? We get Warrior in here. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing your thing.
Well, one second. I will say, I think they're firing all cylinders on the hardware level and Xbox Live Services level. The first party stuff needs to catch up.
Oh,
The games part needs to catch up to like everything else that Microsoft is doing, at least in my opinion.
Oh, I mean, for sure. You know what I mean? Like I said, it should be fired on all cylinders because and again, like I said, remember they acquired Nokia, and it was rumors that Microsoft was going to spin off the Xbox. And you know what? I remember I was probably one of the only ones here. I was for it. I said I would rather the Xbox division stand on itself by itself and bet that on itself. And if they got to cut Redmond to check every whatever month, fine. They go out there because I just feel like even then that they were slowly strangling the life out of out of the Xbox division. Because again, it's me scratching my head. I don't know how you go from the 360, right? And shout out to Mighty Mouse, what up, so very important. In had a great generation. I mean, especially here in the states. And I had to think about this. You know what I mean? It wasn't just what filled the void of Microsoft releasing the Halos or whatever is that they had great second party deals. You know what I mean? Whether it was with Gears back then or T Human and Mass Effect, Oblivion, Bioshock. It had great AAA, second party deals, which are like non existent this generation. So in between the 3-4 years we had to wait for another Halo, we would have had we'd have had some great second party deals, game. Well, like Splinter Cell was exclusive to the
Yep.
I mean to the Xbox. I forgot which one was it, Bag Agent or Rogue, whatever the hell it was. That was exclusive. This only came on the Xbox and PC. We didn't get any of that this generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's for a couple of reasons. One, I think game development is just that much more expensive, where it's harder to do those type of exclusives. And two, Xbox is in a complete different position than they were last gen. Last gen, they were the leaders,
Hmm.
right? The PlayStation 3 at the very beginning was hard to develop for. And you even had Activision CEO Bobby Kotick saying he was going to take Call of Duty off the system if Sony didn't get the PlayStation 3 in order, right?
Hmm.
So because it had the biggest install base, and because the PlayStation 3 was so hard to develop for, like Microsoft had the pick of the litter. They could get what they wanted. Unfortunately, that kind of swapped this gen. PlayStation 4 is leading. Nintendo's obviously having great breaking records. Steam is doing bananas,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Microsoft bringing up the rear off of the disastrous launch of the Xbox One, which forced out pretty much everybody that was in charge of it and led to a huge reduction in budget for the division. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like this gen, like you said, you had Mass Effects, the Bioshocks, the Two Humans, Saints
Oblivion.
Rose, the Oblivions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was there, man. Like they had all these games. Like why you didn't even need a PlayStation 3 at that point because
Mm-hmm.
Xbox had it all. But this gen, things went haywire and things went off the rails. They bet on Connect. So it
Yeah.
was $500, and the
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation undercut them with a more powerful system for cheaper. And
Mm.
this is kind of what happens because of that.
Yeah, that I don't know. That was like I don't know a no brainer. I'm gonna show you something. I brought up something uh in my first impression video, right? And to me, I think this says it all, right? Make this look. Can you see my screen, right?
Yeah, the comparison. I watched your video yesterday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But to me, like this is one of the main issues. I mean, at the end of the day, here you have a photo. This is coming from the world's most powerful console, and I listen. Just no pun. I understand I'm a God of War fanboy, but this is on the standard PS4.
Yeah, God of War looks really good, doesn't it?
This here, this they have to change this here. You know what I mean? This can't be. This ain't
Well,
the answer's way.
no, I mean, I think once again it's rare. Rare doesn't do those type of Rare's always done kind of cartoony looking characters.
Mhm.
If I were to see the Coalition or 343 make a beeline for something along the lines of Sea of Thieves as characters, I'll be truly concerned at that point. Like
Mhm.
Sea of Thieves to me is you see it and it's like, okay, this is a rare game. And Sony's games, they all go for the same kind of look,
Mhm.
high quality graphics, but more lifelike.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'd be really concerned if 343 and Coalition went down that same path because then that would signify there's a change somewhere happened or a directive given by somebody to turn their games more kid friendly because Gears of War is a freaking violent game.
Mhm.
I mean, Halo's not that violent, but still
No.
has a realistic look to it.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Like, I think the biggest problem that Xbox has right now is they don't really have a lot of developers, as many as Sony does, that they've built over the course of time, and they don't allow their studios to work on multiple projects at a time.
Ah.
You know,
Mhm.
like I would love for the Coalition to work on something other than Gears of War. Even split them in two teams and have them still work on Gears 5 and have them work on something else. Like,
Mhm.
it's just that's the kind of problem I have with Microsoft. They look at everything like a business sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And there's this like I could never imagine Microsoft turning to 343 and say scrap Halo, make an action RPG in the similar way that Sony did for Guerrilla,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And that's just kind of the difference between the two. It's just that one's willing to take risks and one is kind of risk adverse. Um,
Profit. Yeah. Okay. Look. Well, here's the thing. I mean, we can. I mean, that's with any generation. I mean, with overall a series, Halo wasn't the behemoth that it was during the three that it is this generation. It is what it is, right? And I surmise that in every generation, right, that you must have this new big AAA experience. You know what I mean? And still do what you do. You know what I mean? Whether you like the game or not, I know Xbox got so this is Walking Simulator fine, but it was big. Horizon Zero Dawn was big for their fan base, 8 million, whatever. Nintendo delivered with theirs with Splatoon, something new and fresh for them. You know what I mean? And we like I said, this is year 5. We have yet to get that. Now I was just reading. Someone sent me an article like last week. One of the guys from Bungie left and hit up a new studio, and he's doing a online horror survival type game. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Looks good. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not. I'm quite sure you talk. And I talk to people also. And it was crazy, right? When I ran, I started talking about I would love to see 343 or the Coalition make some out of Gears and Halo. And I remember the big backlash I got, right? And I spoke to somebody over there on the other on the Microsoft side of thing. He was told to me, he said, I didn't go to school to put myself in, for example, in debt of $100,000 just to make cars around the track. And I said that developers are like artistes. You got to let them go out there and grow and create. You know what I mean? If you look with again, and at the time I wasn't even buying the fact that Naughty Dog was more talented than 343 Studios, but 343 is about 5 to 600 big of a huge studio. And then you have Naughty Dog with a fraction of the resources that 343 has, and they took 10 people away from the Uncharted series and started them on The Last of Us, right? And we can arguably say that The Last of Us, especially last generation, was a much bigger title than the Uncharted series. I forgot, so like 10, 12 million, whatever the case may, was huge for Sony, right?
Hmm.
And even still, like right now, while they're working on Uncharted, I'm sorry, The Last of Us 2, they're already greenlighted them to make another third person action adventure game. You might not see it until, the PS5 or whatever the case may be. And this is Mike, and this is like I said, this and a lot of people are like, well, you gotta give Microsoft time. This is their third time to the dance. This is not their first generation here. This is their third generation going on the fourth. How could you not, or if you don't have the talent or at the time to cultivate the talent, go out there and buy it and acquire it if you're really going to take gaming serious.
That's a good question, man. I mean, Phil's talked about buying studios and opening them up, but he's been saying that for years. I believe it when he says it because I know he's not a liar.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, Microsoft as a company themselves are downsizing. See, like it'd be great if Microsoft went out and say, you might recall recently, Koch Media, who owns Deep Silver and stuff,
Uh-huh.
they sold Deep Silver
Yes.
and all their properties to
Yes.
THQ Nordic.
Uh-huh.
And I think I even see like I think it was maybe Mighty Moss or maybe it was King's Blood was saying like, if
I
you're
know it was Nethus.
or yeah, it was Nethos, I think. It was like,
Yeah.
well, you're saying you're looking for games and for studios,
Uh-huh.
like why not buy them? Because then you would get, the Saints Row franchise,
Uh-huh.
you'd get Metro, you'd
It
get
looked great.
Darksiders and a whole
It
bunch of
great.
other stuff.
Uh-huh.
But like in I would like that because I like those games, but Microsoft as a corporation is like downsizing. Like that's kind of the problem with studio acquisitions. You buy the studio and then you got to hire, the 500 people, the 400 people are coming along too. And that all has to get approved. And in this, like with them downsizing, it's like studio acquisition doesn't really make sense because Satya wouldn't necessarily approve that. Now that's not damage controlling. I'm just telling you like how that is and what the culture is like right now at Microsoft. So Phil, I mean, here's the thing. Like he says a lot of stuff, and he's got to you got to show proof. Like you got to show something. It's been 4 years now when he said he wants to boost up first party and get more franchises. And I mean, yeah, here we are 4 years later, and canceled games, shut down studios. The games that we are getting this year were games announced in 2014 and 2015 that were delayed from last year to this year to make this year actually have games.
Uh-huh.
There is a part of me that was wondering, like, just like you, I'm like, okay, what is seriously going on there? Like, what really happened? Like, where are the games? I don't know, man. Like, I have my what I've been told and my sources that tell me stuff, and they said it was basically like Microsoft reined in the budget and said, nope, can't make anything new. Sorry, all you can make is Halo and Forzas and Gears, and that's it until you can prove you can make money. Is that the truth of the matter? I don't know, but as an Xbox fan, it is a little frustrating, quite a bit. When I didn't have a PlayStation or a Switch, and Spider-Man was announced,
Oh man.
I was like, dude, are you serious? That
Hey
game looked
Rand,
killer,
I ain't
man.
even gonna lie. Sony came out there and they did their goddamn thing and dropped the mic. We saw we getting those games now. Spider-Man, No Days Gone, the God of War, whatever the hell they show, you know what I mean? But that was like the old shit moment. You know what's crazy too again? And I'm gonna say this again for the record, right? I've when and this is to me my problem with Microsoft's E3s. If they start off on a high note, right? Come out, their guns blazing, and they always take this dip. Then you got this 15 minutes with the indies, and they get up to talking about Minecraft again. And I'm gonna say this again: indies, unless it's something I don't even want to call it PUBG, or we call PUBG indie, but whatever. They don't belong on the big stage. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say that is because they don't show well. Whether that may be something like gameplay, Like, you have your diehards, or it's like the movies, and it's like the Oscars. You have a pre E3 showing, and you have an after E3 showing. Then you have, like I said, Sony came out there and didn't show not one goddamn indie. You know what I mean? Not one. Well, Sony's show was showed, yeah, but it was better. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. The things that appeal to me that have me, oh shit, like that's nice. You know what I mean? Like come on, that Spider, like you said, that Spider-Man trailer was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and the thing was, at the time when I saw it, and I saw God of War and all those games, I didn't have a PlayStation.
Mhm.
I got a little jealous, dude. I ain't gonna lie, because at any point, at any point in time previously, I was very content with my Xbox, from the 360 to even the early part of the Xbox One. Right?
Mhm.
I only really wanted to play Last of Us and
Mhm.
a couple of the Uncharted's, and to me, it was okay. It's not really worth the money, but then I was like, all right, well, I mean, Spider-Man and God of War, these games look killer. I need to get a PlayStation. Luckily enough, a friend, donated, and I was able to get a PlayStation 4
Mhm.
Pro.
Hashtag mooch. Okay.
And I played a bunch of games on there, and then fantastic. And then I bought myself a Switch. So, like, the feelings of jealousy, they're gone away. So it's like I'm playing Spider-Man Day One on my PlayStation.
Uh-huh.
I'll play whatever Nintendo comes out with, and it's like I just want Microsoft to just do better, offer
Compete.
better exclusives, like bigger
Yeah.
exclusives. That's all I really want, and I think it'll come. And I know you said, "Oh, now wait to Tokyo Game Show, wait to Comic
Nah, hey,
Con."
nah, man,
Now
nah,
they're saying, "Wait till
no, wait
next
till
gen."
generation. It's next gen. So you done lost faith. See, the deals that Phil's doing right now, when you gonna see that shit for 3-4 years from now?
That's
Like, bro,
true. We won't. Which
God,
which to someone
yo,
like you who wants it now, like, yeah, the Fable, dude, I've heard some good things about the new
yes,
Fable
sir.
game. Like, but that new Fable game is 2020, 2021 at the earliest.
Mhm.
Like the Perfect Dark game, all these deals that are being made, yeah, they're all for next gen, which is disappointing because it almost seems like they gave up on this gen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no catching Sony. But it'd
No.
be a little embarrassing if Nintendo comes up and smacks you in your ass and say, "Hey," and passes you. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? At the end of the day, like, you know what I mean? Well, here's a question. I guess we can flip it like this, right? And I ask you 2 more questions before we get to about flip it, right? Um, we've all heard the thing about my man Tony. Wasn't it Terry Myerson
Right.
ass and whatever the case may be, right? And and it was my man that Dollar didn't really believe in the Xbox product. And it's funny that that they're saying this now, because I said that during with the sixth generation, when you had the OG Xbox and they was getting their ass thoroughly trenched by Sony, right?
Hmm.
I had more faith in the product then, because I felt like you had Bamba jumping around on stage, woo, arms all sweaty and shit, fell well in his arms. You had Peter Moore, like I believed in the product more than what I mean. This
Hmm.
generation, you know, uh, I'm a little concerned, and I want to get your opinion of this. When you have, um, what's her name? What's the woman's name?
Shannon Loftus.
Yeah, when she comes out and make blanketing statements that the record and all that stuff, it's on the level of a Halo and the Gears. That's
Hmm.
scary to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's scary.
I had that conversation with my friends when she made it. I don't agree with it at all. Because like Recore is a mediocre game at best,
Yes.
right? Ori was one of my favorite games of this gen, but I wouldn't put it anywhere close to what Halo or Gears has done.
Oh.
So I wouldn't put them anywhere close to those calibers. And the fact that when she was asked that question, like, yeah, it's PR, she has to answer it in the best way she can, right? And what
That
is
was
she going to
crazy.
choose? Like, what? I mean, you think about what have they really done this gen? Like to put like there, there isn't anything she could say. Like Sunset Overdrive, but that's a dead franchise. Rise, but that's a dead franchise. You know, Eh, she's just trying to put a good face on a bad situation. But that's the truth of the matter is they haven't created anything new and spectacular for this generation,
Mhm.
like they had previously in the previous 2 generations. But then you got to think for yourself: has Microsoft ever really created a huge smash hit themselves? Remember, they bought Bungie. Halo was already being made. Like they
Okay.
acquired Bungie. Gears of War was made by Epic.
Yes.
The only thing like you could argue that Microsoft
Forza?
did was Forza.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport. The rest, it's all kind of external studios.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you think of the studios that Microsoft owns, they have Turn 10, they have 343, they have Mojang, they have the Coalition. Am I
Yeah.
blanking on any?
I think nope. That you got Turn 10, Mojang, Multiplat Studio, whatever I don't know. The Coalition and 343.
Yeah. What do they all make? Forza's, Minecraft, Halo, Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's all we've gotten. And the other games are all by second party developers. And that kind of bit Microsoft in the ass this gen. Like, even if Microsoft wanted to do a Rise 2 and they did,
Mm-hmm.
Crytek didn't want to do it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Insomniac wanted to do a Sunset Overdrive 2. Microsoft didn't want to do it. If you actually own those studios and they were your first party, you could tell them what to do.
Yes.
Like, no, you're giving us the Sunset Overdrive 2. So what was the strength on the 360 of being the number one platform and having those second party deals to get those games and relying on that completely backfired this gen because they weren't number one. It was harder for them to get their deals, harder for them to get the marketing deals. They had to rely on their first party, and their first party is basically Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, 3 Forzas this gen, and a Gears of War.
Yeah.
It's pretty you think about it like that, and you do get a little depressed.
Pay the bills here. He said the Raven Flow said, "Thank you for the $2." He said Microsoft is setting a low standard for future gamers. During if you think we did BGST Monday, and Tim, shout out to my brother Tim. Tim and those guys was talking about the Game Pass and the future where they're going, the cloud or Microsoft expanding their business beyond the Xbox, right? And far future, we're going to see that you're going to have Xbox Game Pass, like Sony did with Sony, now on your television sets or whatever the case may be, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'll also set this back. It's kind of alarming that we've heard more about how you say tech that Microsoft acquired and actually game announcements, whether they Havoc or Gobo Studios, whatever the case may be, right? And you see Microsoft because they are, like you say, very, very business savvy, and they're putting their hat in every arena, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have them concentrate on one, getting this here together. You know what I mean? I understand that may be the future. You know what I mean? Before you venture out, like I say, before you become the master of all, I think you should just master one thing first. You know what I mean? That's maybe it's just me being the own realm at the gate or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you know what I mean? You're cool, or you know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about that?
About them going to like bringing an app to a TV or whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Like, the fact that somebody could play an exclusive from Microsoft stream to their TV or to their PC or to their Switch, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. Although I understand why people will be like, well, what's the point of getting an Xbox if I can just get all the games on my Switch or my PlayStation never happened, but it could happen on the Switch. Like, I get that line of thought. Like, why I just get a Switch then? And I think this is just a difficult situation for Xbox to be in because they're getting outclassed by two competitors. PlayStation's destroying it, and Nintendo's destroying it. They just had like the best 12 months ever for a console, and Microsoft's doing really well. Even the MPD guys are saying they're seeing growth. It's just that when you compare them, they just aren't doing that good. And because Microsoft is so tight-lipped, you don't know how good they are doing. They want to keep everything secret, and it's very hard to get excited about what Microsoft is doing because we don't know what they're doing. That's the problem, right? Even if you're not a fan of God of War or Spider-Man, you may be a fan of Last of Us. You could look forward to Last of Us. You could look forward to Death Stranding, Kojima's new game. If you're not a fan of Crackdown or State of Decay or Sea of Thieves, what's there to look forward to right now, a year from now or 2 years from now? There's nothing. They have, Forza Horizon 4, but other than that, that's it. The Microsoft strategies bit them in the ass. The idea of announcing games closer to release completely backfired on them. They need to go back and they need to At this E3, they need to show gamers what they're cooking. What do they have? What do they have in store for the next 2 years? Even if Fable's not ready for 3 years, you need to show it.
At least show Fable 4 on the screen.
Yeah,
That was
Perfect Dark's not ready. Show Perfect Dark.
the name Fires and Perfect Dark.
Get some enthusiasm back. Because I'm an Xbox gamer first, primarily. Like 99.9% of my time is played on this console, right? And I want their exclusives to be, on the level of Nintendo or Sony's. And Sea of Thieves, game not for me. Other people will enjoy it, and that's great. State of Decay 2 looks a lot better in my opinion. It looks like a cool, zombie survival game.
I'm interested in State of Decay 2.
Yeah, and Crackdown, I think Crackdown could be fun, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm more of that single player kind of narrative focused, heavy story type of dude, where Sony's exclusives a little bit more appeal to me these days. But the thing is, Microsoft used to give us that. We got a few games from them this gen that were like that. Rise and Quantum Break, like
awesome.
Sunset Overdrive. It maybe wasn't the best story narrative game, but it was a big budget AAA production.
It's fun.
I
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's just something must have happened, man. Like something really, really went down behind the scenes for it to end up in this manner in 2018.
Hold on, I got 2 questions. We can close the show with this right here. First, from Pay the Bills. Red Hood 420 said, "Glad you guys are being real, unlike crap. The crap gamer Megaton." My man here asked me a question on Facebook for you. He said, "Can you ask Rand this question? Do you think another company needs to enter the console space to compete because Microsoft sure isn't it?"
4 companies in the gaming space. That is that would be something. You see, there's always the rumors of Google getting in there.
Apple, Google.
But I mean, Apple buying. Can you imagine if Apple bought Sony and the place?
That's the rumor. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like Microsoft versus Apple, not only in all the companies they do, but in video gaming. I don't know. I think the industry is as healthy as it's been in a long time. If you follow what the MPD group and they're saying, like the Switch is killing it, Xbox is doing really well, and so is PlayStation. I'm not necessarily sure you need another competitor. I think at one point Amazon was thinking about getting in, but they just bought Twitch instead. There's been reports of Google making a streaming box. Maybe that'll work, but as I think people know, you need to have exclusives, right? Like to differentiate your console from something else. Like why get a PlayStation or why get an Xbox over something else? It's because the exclusive experiences you can only get on those consoles. Well, what is Google going to do? They don't have any video game studios. Like what exclusive experiences is Google going to provide?
I think they would just buy the talent.
You think they would just come in and be like, we're buying Naughty Dog, we're buying Sony Santa Monica, we're buying 343?
It'd probably be cheaper for them in the long run instead of trying to build and grow their talent. Just go ahead and cut the check, get it done. They know what they're doing. They used to putting out AAA games. They already got some ideas that they're running with. You know what I mean? Also, like I said, knowing BGST, another question for you. We some of the rumors that were floating around that the next Forza game will be a kart racer game. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I wouldn't be surprised that there's a third Forza franchise. I don't know if it'll be a kart game or something like that, but I think the wear and tear of doing Forza Motorsport every other year is starting to get to turn 10. I wouldn't be surprised if next year there is a third Forza game, partially so they can alleviate some of the pressure off turn 10 so they can launch the next Xbox in 2020 with a launch title of like Gears 5 and Forza Motorsport 8 to show off the pretty 4K 60 graphics on that machine, So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Gamer M, shout out for the $2. Said, nice to see you on Rand. Finally link up. What's up, Rand? Appreciate the $2 in the super chat. I know I got something I wanted to ask you myself while I find this other question for you. Some of the rumors that were mentioned, a Halo spinoff, cell shaded, and the Gears of War spinoff. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
So the Gears spinoff, I'm 95% sure is happening.
The Gears spinoff?
Yeah, I'm 95% sure that's real. I've heard about the Halo spinoff, but other than that, I don't have any like
What
information
about
about
this
what
though?
it could or
Think,
couldn't be.
but what if they were to do a now think about it. What if they do a Halo, third person like a Mass Effect spinoff? That would be sick.
That would, I mean, if they could. That's the thing. Like,
That's sick.
there's different directions you could take Halo or Gears of War,
Hmm.
other than just the first person shooter, third person shooter.
Hmm.
And I love Mass
And that's
Effect. If you
ill.
could
Think
give like
about
a
that. You
Halo
listening?
RPG or something, you know?
If you're listening, if you can do Halo like this, the spinoff, third person action, make it like a Mass Effect type game, and you know what I mean. That will be ill. You know, with the whole RPG element. You know what I mean? Like that's sick. You know what I mean? Something. I guess he won't have. He won't really suffer from, like you say, franchise fatigue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know, this also goes to the idea of Game Pass. Though Microsoft knows they need exclusive games to put in there to keep people subscribed all year long.
Hmm.
So a Halo spin-off game, a Gears spin-off game, they need to provide that content. And but the content's got to be good. It's got to be great. You
Hmm.
know, that's the thing. Like the Gears spin-off, could it be a pile of garbage? It very well could be. Could it be great? Possibly. But it's not. The thing is, I'm pretty sure it's not made by Coalition. In fact, I'm like 100% sure
Yeah, it's
Coalition
supposed to be
doesn't
made
have
by. I
anything
forgot
to
the
do
name of
with it.
the company. Jesus, Splash Damage, somebody, Splash
Yeah.
Damage or something.
So, you know, the idea of like Coalition making a Gears spinoff, or the idea of Microsoft allowing them to do anything other than Gears, I don't think that's ever going to happen unless they just became really popular and people started buying Xboxes and they could afford to do that. But Um, yeah, some of those rumors though, like but then again, you could argue that that's them relying too much relying on Forza, you know, Halo and Gears again. Like, why do a Gears spinoff? If why not make a new IP, right? Why not do something new? Why have the spinoff? You know?
Do stuff with those Shanghai Heights assets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That would
So
be a
I
yeah. That
mean,
would
this year E3, I know it's a meme. I know, you know, wait to
wait to
E3
E3.
stuff, but man, like last year, I told people don't expect much, and because I knew it was there and there wasn't anything there. This year, I don't know, because Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 are going to be out. Microsoft better show something because all they're going to have left is Crackdown 3 at that point. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Forza
and of
Horizon
course,
4,
yeah, yeah.
but like you need to come with the guns blazing. This isn't time to be like idle just because Sony may not show a lot of stuff because Sony showed everything back in 2016, you know?
They're gonna probably
Uh
show more actual gameplay or more gameplay from those games.
yeah, I mean, you know they're going to do a Death Stranding gameplay
Ghost of
reveal.
Tsushima, probably.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima stuff, Last of Us gameplay. I mean, Sony you already I mean, yeah, people will be like, "Well, Sony's was just a replay of last year's," but that's the road that Sony went down. You know,
Worked out for him.
it clearly did. And you know, I think we both want I just want better for Microsoft. I want Xbox fans to feel happy and enthused about the direction that their company's heading in, but I'm not going to damage control it. You know, I'm always going to speak my mind
Hmm.
and tell it like it is. And right now, I've said this before, the exclusives and the games that Microsoft's been putting out have been extremely lacking in comparison to the competition.
Say it with me. Diabetic gaming.
Diabetic gaming. Does that mean too much sugar? Too much
Yeah, it's
sugar in
just
your
sweet.
gaming?
Maybe sweet, sweet,
Yeah.
sweet. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna say before we go, and it's the last thing. We all seen the Inside of Xbox show. You know, you had some out there, you know, damage control and that. You know, even shout out to my Mega, bless God bless his heart. Well, ZZ, the first BGST wasn't good. The first GRG wasn't good. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about, right? And and I believe in their hearts, because they always say this, right? That they hear us, they know what the fans want. You know what I mean? And maybe in their hearts, they thought that show ID at Xbox, that was it. You know what I mean? That won the answer's way. And I do believe probably that they think that in their hearts that they want to put on a great E3. You know what I mean? That they want to put on a great showing, right? And I've granted, I swear on every color Jesus under the rainbow, right? That they have. I don't think they know what their core wants anymore.
It's
You know what I mean?
possible. It's possible they may not know, or it's
I feel like they're
possible.
going through an identity crisis because again, I don't, and I don't know if you got to shake up between bosses and stuff, but I don't know how you can again just be firing on all soldiers with the 360. They say hit after hit after hit, until now we're getting games like Super Lucky Tales and some DLC for that, and Disney Rush, Zoo Tycoon, Rebound, and Xbox winning hands. I'm like, what else? Like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm in the Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. You know, like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. You know, maybe like I said, they probably do want to put on a good showing. You know what I mean? But I don't know if they know how to or what we want anymore.
I think they know exactly what we want. Phil says he's very aware of the meme. E3 is for the hardcore gamer to tune into. It's just they didn't have anything in production ready to show last year, but they need to show it now. So they better hope that stuff is there. But as for Inside Xbox, part of it is is like they could have shown off so much more stuff.
State of Decay or something.
State of Decay stuff, the collector's edition, the fact that 2 day, like 3 or 4 days after that, they revealed their E3 plans and how they were having the big
Talk
theater.
about that.
Could have done something with that. Could have done something with all these other things that happened.
The Blind Forest too, something. You
But
know what I mean? You know that. You know when you up there interviewing him for 10 minutes, a man that played the harmonica for Thieves. Like, what are we doing here?
and the thing is, it was 2 hours long. It didn't need to be 2 hours.
45 minutes. If that was going to be a Sea of Thieves extravaganza, that show could have been 45 minutes to 30 minutes long.
Yep. So I mean, we'll see how they take the feedback and come back next month. But yeah, it was too much Sea of Thieves and just not. And that's the problem with Microsoft. It's like they get it, but like sometimes they don't get it. You know what I mean? Like you have all this information that people want to know. People want to know about State of Decay. They want to know about Ori. They want to know about E3. You don't tell them, and then 3 days later you tell them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the show's called Inside Xbox. Like, why didn't you just reveal it there? And I just like pull my hair out sometimes thinking about like missed opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that show kind of just proved that it was just a missed opportunity. Could it be better? Hell yeah. I mean, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, Inside Xbox could be great.
Mm-hmm.
But that first episode, yeah, it was wasn't very good. But hey, was BGST very good in the first episode?
Hey, Reynolds, if you being messy, Brent, now come on, 10K, 1K. The Raven Flow, shout out to you for $2. He said, can you remember a time that Microsoft last showed they made a ton at E3, something new, maybe E3 2015?
A megaton.
Something big and new.
I don't think I've had a megaton in a long time.
I think
like, I don't think. No, I mean, like a megaton. I think of like something completely unexpected, like when that dude walked up behind Don Matrick, tapped him on the shoulder, and it was like Final Fantasy 13 coming to Xbox. Because at the time, Final Fantasy never coming to Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people freaked out. You know what? Honestly, and this saddens me. But the biggest announcement Microsoft's made this past 5 years is backwards compatibility. As like a megaton announcement, as something nobody expected and people went crazy for. You know what I mean? And I people love backwards compatibility, and you know, God bless them. I'm not one of them. But when you think about it, what else kind of reaction from Xbox fans that show last 5 years has garnered that kind of reaction?
Would you say Project Scorpio or X?
Yeah, but we kind of all knew Project Scorpio was happening.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, yeah, you're probably right if we didn't know about it. Like if it was just, here's Scorpio, people would have lost their minds, but it kind of leaked beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But the backwards compatibility thing, nobody knew about. So when it was announced, people were shocked. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean backwards compatibility? So I don't know what that says about the state of their games. That backwards compatibility is like the most like, you know, talked about moment from the last 5 years, but you know, it is what it is.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave Princess Christina with the last commenter today. At Next Gen, he said it's hard to know what your core wants when everyone's throwing so many different narratives at you, from wanting single player games to needing Japanese experience. And then you can. I'll give you the last commenter today. Rant. Your core. Just looking about what made most people an Xbox fan. Your big over the top shooters, AAA games. You know what I mean? I don't think that's really hard. You know what I mean? Because Sony does a great job at delivering games to their core, and Sony does, like I said, they more or less fall back on the multi-platform for their multiplayer experience. But what Sony does give you, you know, The Last of Us, you know, the Heavy Rain, that's what they're good at. You know what I mean? And Microsoft is good at more or less, Xbox Live single player games. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, it's multiplayer games. That's what they're good at. You know what I mean? But I'll give you an example. Maybe here it is. You're releasing a new platform, a new console, hard piece of hardware this holiday season. Well, last year, right? And you had with how many big shooters you had last year? You had Star Wars, Destiny, Duty. You know what I mean? It it would Microsoft some good if they could have had one of those big AAA games to have with their platform bundle. You know what I mean? Like they totally went away from theme consoles and all that. Like I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you think about that, Ryan?
I mean, I guess what the core wants. It's like why'd you become an Xbox fan in the first place? For me, it was Halo.
Mine
I've
was
heard you
Fable.
say for you it was Fable, right?
Mhm,
For other people, it'd be Gears of War. For other people, it might be Bioshock or Mass Effect.
mhm,
Maybe some people because of the third party stuff. And then this maybe some people even for Forza.
mhm.
But this gen, it's tough because I don't think any of their games really resonated with a lot of people as their previous ones. You could make an argument that maybe it's Minecraft now. Minecraft and if because Sea of Thieves reminds me a lot of Minecraft of the do whatever your mind can make up, go do it, right? That's kind of what Minecraft is.
Mhm.
And I wonder if like that type of game style really impacted what Rare was doing. So I'm not. Here's the thing. I think I said this to you before. I'm not sure what the Xbox gamer wants these days. I don't know because I don't really know who the Xbox gamer is anymore. You know what I mean? I think a lot of Xbox gamers went to PlayStation at the start of the
A lot
generation.
a lot of the casual. But okay, I can ask you this question, right? You're a diehard OG Xbox guy, right? What do
Yeah.
you want?
What do I want? I want Halo to be relevant and huge again. It's my favorite franchise.
Okay.
I want the campaign to be as good as the multiplayer is, right? I want Gears of War to kind of take the shackles off it and be something different. Um I want um I want another Remedy game. I want Alan Wake 2 or something from Remedy because I really love those developers. Um what else do I want? I just want great exclusives. I don't really care who makes them as long as they're good. You know what I'm saying? And last year's lineup was atrocious. Uh, and
Right.
it kind of like put me in a certain way regarding like the future of what Microsoft was going to do with their exclusive franchises.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I just want Microsoft to just I don't know make better games. Is that
Okay. Yeah.
they can. I mean, Sea of Thieves I think is a great kind of concept and core there. It's just it would be so much better if there was like meaningful progression,
Mhm,
right? Because it almost feels like an early access game in certain ways.
mhm.
Um, Crackdown 3, if like when I look at that game, like if it actually had like a campaign that just wasn't kind of thrown together, you know, it seems that Microsoft kind of sometimes takes the easy way out on some of these things or gives a half baked like performance. Um, but maybe that's the time we live in. I don't know. Um, at least, well, I mean, the type of experiences that I kind of want now, I can get exclusively on the PlayStation. I play all my third party stuff on the Xbox, on the X, and be perfectly happy. But
Mhm.
the exclusive stuff, the stuff that really takes power of the system and the narrative and all that stuff, it seems at least at this point in time, the only place to get that is on PlayStation. Whereas you could get that on an Xbox. Just it doesn't seem like that's going to be a case for the next couple of years at least.
Uh-huh. But, I'm gonna close it with this. You know what? Like, what we want. I wanted a new AAA game with big budget title outside of Halo from 343. I want a new AAA big blockbuster game outside of Gears from the Coalition or Black Tusk, whatever the hell they're. You know what I mean? I want Rare. I don't know what the hell. No, Rare. Put them back there and connect avatars. I don't know I don't know. I don't have any expectations from Rare. You know what I mean? Want Microsoft to go out there and acquire playground games, lock them down. You know what I mean? And I would love to see another, whether it be Quantum Break 2, Alan Wake, something from Remedy. You know what I mean? Very, very talented team. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, I think that would be a step in the right direction. Or, like I said, when you have Capcom again said they're willing to sell IPs. Go in there. You know what I mean? Open the checkbook up. Make it happen. You look at over there at Sega. I don't know what's the last time Sega got a hit, but again, they have a bunch of classic IPs that you can, imagine you would call it a Streets of Rage 3, beat them up, so $20 with some next generation graphics. What I mean? They can do little stuff like that to fill the void of between your next big, whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, we just went so long without anything, and then when we did get something, it was like looking like, what the hell? What's this, okra? I don't eat broccoli, mom. What the hell is this? You know what I mean? Then you're gonna double down on what's that? Lucky Tales? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys, they gonna tease us. You guys want Lucky Tales 2 or some DLC, nigga? I'm like, yo, I'm bugging out over here, man. But yo, thank you, Rand, for swinging by. I appreciate it, my man. Hope we get to work more in the future. I
Sure.
appreciate it. Down there, 500 people. Shout out to all you guys that swung by and watched us at the spur of the moment. Just drop. I totally forgot. I thought today was Wednesday, Rand. We had a snowstorm here. I totally forgot. You know what I mean? But again, thank you all for rocking out. If you enjoyed yourself today, hit the like button. I'll be back at probably about 8:39 for some multiplayer podcast. Appreciate it. Bacon grease.